Welcome, everyone, to my podcast. I can't believe I'm saying this. My podcast. Wow. It's called Built on Beliefs. And I tell you what, I'm crashing through my own beliefs to be able to be here on the first episode of my own podcast called Built on Beliefs. So, we're going to be talking today about 5 ways beliefs shape your life. I'm Julie. I'm the host of the show. I have a background in speech language pathology and infant mental health, parent-child relationships, and I'm a life coach. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. And we're going to jump right in talking about beliefs. First of all, beliefs are simply thoughts on repeat over time. That's how you develop a belief. Hear it over and over again. If you have emotions involved with those repetitive thoughts, it gets driven into your subconscious mind even deeper to become a deeper rooted belief. But that's all that we're talking about here is thoughts on repeat develop beliefs. Okay, so where steps first of all, we'll start by talking about where your core original beliefs come from. And this comes from your conditioning. Some people call it your paradigm. And I also like to call it your operating system. And this comes from childhood. That's where the majority of your beliefs come from. You come to the world with this open slate brain in a theta brain wave, which means you're just absorbing everything you hear and observe and experience directly into the subconscious mind. You don't have a conscious mind that is able to discern between what you're going to decide is true and what's not. That just doesn't exist in a baby's brain. So everything it experiences gets embedded, absorbed straight into the subconscious mind. Now, there's a purpose for that so that we can learn quickly and easily and get to a point of our learning where we don't have to think about the things we're doing step by step, like when it comes to walking or crawling. We don't have to remember every time. We don't have to relearn and rethink all the steps that are involved in walking or crawling. It gets in your subconscious mind, so it's automatic. So you just do it and you don't have to think about it. That's the purpose of a baby being in theta brain waves. Now, the first 3 years of life, I was a pediatric speech language pathologist, so I've studied brain architecture, especially in the first 3 years of life, and we know that the brain has the greatest capacity for growth in that first 3 years. It does. It has the most growth in the first 3 years than in your entire life. Building beliefs, taking in information, learning from the world, learning about love, learning about trust, learning about what it is to be a family member. How do I get my needs met? What happens when I don't get my needs met? The basics of survival. And so when we're born, babies believe they're worthy of getting their needs met. And so when they want something or they need something, they cry out for it. They just announce it like, hey, I need something. And they have so much love of themselves that they just ask for what they want with their crying and their fussing. So then we get older and, we're absorbing higher cognitive things. We're in school, maybe we're in Boy Scouts or Brownies or sports or church. There's cultural influences from your community, from the region that you live in, from the country that you live in. And you are just being exposed to it as a young person up until the age of about 7, when you can learn to discern using your conscious mind about what you're going to choose to believe and what you don't. So you think about the first years of life, um, you've just absorbed everything you've experienced into your subconscious mind. And so those are your beliefs. You have beliefs about trust, about relying on others, about being supported, about what it means to be a friend or a son or a daughter. So your original beliefs are not yours. And we don't know that. We carry that into life And we never really think about why do I believe that, or why do I think that, or why do I act this way? We just do, and then we call it our personality, or that's just who I am, or that's just how I am. But it's really not. You learned that. Someone downloaded, or lots of someone's downloaded all of that information into your subconscious mind. So that's where your primary beliefs come from, is the outer world, not from you. Okay. Number two of ways that beliefs shape our lives. We have a system in our brain called the reticular activating system. And what it does is it looks for what you believe in. It's a way to feel safe. Like if I believe this and I get evidence from the outside world that that's actually true, then I feel safe and okay that what I'm thinking is keeping me safe. I'm going to be okay. And so when you have a belief, your reticular activating system scans the world to find evidence to back up those beliefs. And the most important part of that statement is that it overlooks everything that doesn't support the belief. So you are developing this myopic way of seeing the world, looking for what you want to see, which is what you already believe, and everything else gets just kind of flown by the wayside. It's not what your brain's looking for. And so you miss all this other information, all these other opportunities, experiences, evidence to go against your beliefs, but we don't like that. So we just pass right over it. So that's a very powerful way that the brain will keep you believing what you want to believe and overlooks everything else. And this really mimics the algorithm of social media. You're being fed what you want to be fed. You're not getting any information on anything else that you've not ever looked at that's not in your algorithm. Okay, number three, when you have beliefs, they reinforce your current beliefs, like I just said, through the reticular activating system. And so you're just solidifying your beliefs over and over again, unless you were to make a conscious effort, a conscious choice to look for other things. Most people don't ever think about that. Why would we think about doing that? We're just going about our business, living our lives. So I don't know. One example is let's say a parent said, teens don't really want to connect with their parents. They don't want to sit and chat with their parents. They don't want to have conversations with their parents. Um, that's an understandable belief because a lot of teenagers, they show us, they'll shut the door and they want to be with their friends and be alone, etc. But as long as you believe that, then you're going to accept that they're not going to come out and talk to you. Now, just imagine if you didn't believe that and you're like, you know what? I think maybe this is just a pattern that's been reinforced and maybe it's cultural and it just reinforcing itself. What if I believe that no, my child really does want to connect with me at some times? Not all the time, obviously. They're individuating. That's a healthy part of development. But what if you did believe that they wanted to connect? If you did, you would make more attempts to connect than if you didn't believe. If you don't believe, it's more hands off. They don't really want to talk to me anyway, so I'm going to leave them alone. And so you're reinforcing and giving yourself evidence that teenagers don't want to connect with their parents. So when you begin to understand and become aware of what your beliefs are, you can start to question them and challenge them a little bit. Like, what would happen if I decided to believe that no, teens really do want to connect? Maybe it just needs to be at the right time and the right style, things like that. But they really need it. They want it. They thrive on it. They'll resist it and make it look like they don't, but they really do. So this is an example how your beliefs just perpetuate your beliefs and you keep looking for evidence that your belief is true and you get it. And so you're like, no, it's true, but not necessarily. That's the other thing about beliefs. We have beliefs they're very subjective. They're not always proven. You can't prove them. Like I would say that we would all probably believe that the sun will rise tomorrow, but how do we really know that? How do we have evidence of that? What is telling us that? We may believe that our heart will be beating in the morning when we wake up, and that, you know, we'll continue breathing, tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Where is the proof of that? But you just choose to believe it, right? Okay, we're going on to number 4. Beliefs create limits for you. You take this world, this reality that's filled with infinite possibilities, and you narrow it down to your beliefs. Okay, now you've just limited yourself. So instead of being open to all of this, to everything that is, to all the possibilities, infinite possibilities that exist in the quantum field, we'll get into that later on, we narrow it down. We subjectively choose our own beliefs, and it has a lot to do with the way we were raised and the beliefs we developed in the first 7 years of life. Of course, you develop new beliefs beyond that, but you see, we take this world of vast opportunity and things to believe in, and we just whittle it right down to these beliefs that limit us. It limit when we believe only, these things, then it kind of rules out opportunity for all the other things outside of that. So it's like a finite set of possibilities when there's an infinite set of possibilities for you. So, for example, if we think about beliefs around the 4 areas that I like to focus on are health, wealth, relationships, and fulfillment. And so everybody has beliefs around those 4 areas of life, and they either keep you expansive or they limit you. And so we'll be talking further in further episodes about what your beliefs are around these 4 areas of life, and how your beliefs in those areas will shape your experience, your reality in those 4 areas of life. Okay. Lastly, beliefs exist in the subconscious mind. Remember, I said beliefs are thoughts on repeat that get absorbed, they get internalized into the subconscious mind. And so now when you move through the day, you do a lot of things automatically. When you drive a car, you're not thinking about every little thing you're doing like you did when you first learned how to drive. It's just automatic. That's because it's internalized, it's embedded into your subconscious mind. When you ride a bike, the same thing. You're not thinking about every step along the way like you did when you first learned how to ride a bike, because that's in your subconscious mind. And it's on autopilot, right? So as you move about your day, everything in your subconscious mind is on autopilot. And so, I mean, down to the most basic things like, do you put your right shoe on before your left shoe? Do you put your pants on before you put your shirt on? Little things as you move through your day, start just becoming aware of, what am I doing here? And how did this come to be? And why didn't I put the left one on first over the right one? And why do I brush my teeth after breakfast instead of before breakfast? Well, that one might be a no-brainer. But we are moving about our day on automatic pilot. And so even when it comes to, making decisions about things that come at you in life, often it's very automatic. And that is because we already have beliefs deeply rooted and about whatever comes up. And so we don't need to think about it. We're just like, no, I don't believe in that, or no, we're not doing that, or yes, of course we're doing that. We have to do that. We start living by our beliefs, will have us living by rules like, I have to do this because I believe it's important to be kind. So I'm going to say yes to this, maybe even if you really want to say no. Your beliefs can limit you and keep you doing things that you don't really want to be doing. Again, that's another episode in the future. So Beliefs being in your subconscious mind, I just want to say quickly that your subconscious mind runs 95% of the show automatically, mostly without your awareness. That means only 3 to 5%, we'll just say 5 for easy numbers, 5% of the time are you actually using your conscious mind to make decisions and to be discerning about what's going on. That's the first time I heard that, I was blown away by that. We are such automatic creatures, and we're not aware of why we're making the decisions we're making. We're not aware of why we handle this way and that way, why we engage in relationships this way, friendships, family relationships, partner relationships, parent-child relationships. 95% of it is automatic from your subconscious mind. And as a reminder, what's in your subconscious mind is thoughts that you had on repeat that got internalized, that got programmed, absorbed into the subconscious mind. Now, you can use your conscious mind, that 5%, to reprogram your subconscious mind. And that's what I do in my coaching. That's the gist of all of it, is we're reprogramming the subconscious mind and becoming aware of what we're thinking, why we're doing the things we're doing, and questioning all of it. And you'll realize that, wow, I was just on automatic pilot and I never even thought about why I was doing what I was doing. And when you stop to think about it, you open up freedom of choice. Oh, I don't have to do that automatic pilot. I can just look at it and choose. And maybe I'll choose the same belief, but maybe I'll choose something different. Maybe I'll play with it. Maybe I'll run an experiment. What happens if I try this instead of my normal this and see what happens? It's really fun. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited about future episodes. We're going to get so deep into how your beliefs are actually shaping your reality. And ultimately, what I want is to help people become happier, more fulfilled, more successful, whatever that is, whatever success means to them in their life. And the reason that's important to me is I have a belief that there's a collective consciousness, there's this collective human energy that we all participate in. And each individual who becomes more satisfied, more fulfilled, happier, more joyful, more peaceful, um, more calm, more clarity, it's raising the entire vibration of humanity, raising human consciousness. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I quit my job as a speech language pathologist, which I loved, to help people raise their own consciousness, to raise their vibration, and to bring that into their family life and to their community and to their regions. There's a ripple effect. That's another episode. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just want to raise the success and happiness and joy and peace, um, for humanity. Okay, see y'all next time.